Hello, welcome to yet another one of our videos. It is fall here and it is getting super duper cold, so we are wearing like sweaters and stuff, and we are walking to a new place that we're going to explore today.
So before moving to Canada, we did our research on what Canada is like, how things run here, but there are only some things we realized or got to know after moving here through experience. So we decided to share 10 of those things in this video with you. So let's head to the new place and then we'll continue there. Yeah, so this is a park that is near our place. We decided to explore. Basically, it's just a big open ground. Seems like there's a baseball pitch here. Some kids are playing there. We came to explore our neighborhood.
Canada is just so beautiful. It's like wherever you look, there's a lot of beauty. And here is one of my beauty looking at his phone.
Okay, so the first point is that Canada is not as technologically as advanced as other parts of the world. So we come from Singapore, where everything is more technologically advanced, everything is online. But in Canada, we came here, we realized a lot of the processes are pretty slow, like your IRCC application, your SIN, things like that. Even we went to Service Ontario, it's a long queue that you have to stand in for hours to get something done. So Canada hasn't really progressed that much, but technological advancements are happening, but at a slower rate. Like if you see, even in India, that there is technological advancement coming in, but like it's being implemented faster. In Canada, it's just a little slow. Like for us, personal story is that when we came here first time, we went to get our SIN number, and the queue was super long until the person said, we won't be able to attend to you, please come back tomorrow. So we decided, okay, we'll come back early morning the next day, and then we stood in queue for 6 hours. For 6 hours, and we were super tired. We had to do our lunch in the queue itself, and then we finally got our SIN. Now there may be a better process, we don't know, but when we first came, which was last year actually, this was terrible. Even for us to get the G1, do our driving test, the theory one, we also stood long hours in the cold to just go and do our test. So not a pleasant experience, but hopefully they come up with better ways to get these things done.
So many people might not know, but there are a lot of homeless people here in Canada. They are usually seen closer to the city. The thing is, here in Canada, there are about 235,000 people experiencing homelessness, like one type or other. It's not right to just blame them and stuff like that. There are a lot of things going on in their life due to which they face homelessness, like there might be separations, abusive relationships, substance use, and many other things that would cause them to go homeless. Of course, the government is well aware about it, and they are putting programs in place to ensure that homeless people are taken care of, but again, how effective it is, we are not really sure of that.
Okay, so the next point is about taxes. So people know that taxes here are quite high. When we were in Singapore itself, we knew taxes were high in Canada, but it didn't really bother us much until we came here and started spending. Now it's our fault. We should have actually done research on how high the taxes are. So in Canada, income tax wise, you have to pay federal and provincial. So federal is like you paying to the national government, and then provincial is to pay for the individual province government, like, or the state government kind of thing. So you have to pay for both of them, and when you add them up, it takes quite a big chunk of your income. And here income tax is progressive, means the more you earn, the more tax you pay. I'll put up a information sheet in the screen to show you what is the breakdown. And the next thing is sales tax. So sales tax at the moment right now is 13%. So everything you buy from outside, there will be a 13% GST added to it. Every time when we buy, it's like we bleed a little more than we need to because of the sales tax. So just make sure you remember that when you're coming here, and consider that if it's will be too much for you. And another point I want to make is that when you do your taxes every year, make sure you get an expert to assist you with it, because there may be ways you can get tax benefits somewhere or another. So make sure that you don't have to pay a lot of tax every year.
Alright, so the next point is transport. Hearing this word a lot of people who are here are going to be like, ugh. So the transport in Canada is okayish. The place where we come from, Singapore, the transportation is known to be like amazing. People there don't have much car because of firstly how expensive the car is, and secondly how good the transport is. But here in Canada, finding a transport is very difficult. If you go to Scarborough, which is like closer to the city, or even in the city, the buses take around 10-15 or 20 minutes max to arrive. But if you go towards the outskirts, like now we are in Whitby, and here each bus is 30 minutes. So if you want to go to a place, especially to work, if let's say you miss the bus by even 1 minute, the next bus would be arriving in 30. So transportation is
Standing in a baseball batting area. Come on, Aishu, pitch me.
Did you show them the apples that are hanging around?
Oh, yeah, they are. I don't know why apples are stuck to the cages. All right. So the next point I want to say is about credit score. So in Canada, they are mad about credit score. If you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you want to apply for a new credit card, they will check your credit score. So credit score is something like a report card for how you handle your finances. So they will see like what loans you have on you, what bank accounts you have, are you paying your bills on time, things like that. All will be reported in your credit score. So in that, credit score varies based on numbers. So it's be like 500, 600, all the way up to I think 900. The higher your credit score, the better it will be for you. The higher likely like they will offer you a better loan, better interest rates, things like that. So here they're crazy about credit score, and you have to build it day one when you start in Canada itself. It takes a long time to build a good credit score, but one simple mistake can make you lose a lot of points. So beware of that. And one thing that helps you build credit score consistently is paying your bills on time. Your credit card bills, when you spend here, make sure to pay it as soon as possible. Don't wait till end of the month when the statement comes. So this one we realized through experience actually, because in Singapore how it is, at the end of the month they provide you the bank's like the credit card bill. Let's say $500 you spent in that month, and then the credit card bill comes, you pay it off. That kind of thing. You have 21 days to pay it off. But in Canada, if you use up to 30% of your allowed credit limit, they will see it like a bad thing. So you will have to always pay it off. Don't wait until end of the month to pay off your bills.
Okay, so the next point is about sunset. So when we first came to Canada, we were very surprised because we came during the summers, and during the summers the sun here sets at 9 p.m. which is very shocking to a lot of people, because especially back in Asia, you know, there is a certain time that the sunset happens, which is around 7. But here during summers the sunset happens around 9 p.m. and during winter it's the opposite. So the sunset here happens at around 4 to 4:30 p.m., which is in the afternoon. So you know, when we first came here it was bizarre, because our brain, us, everything was so confusing. We used to get hungry at 4:30 because our brain thinks that it's night and we need to have dinner. So that was the kind of situation which you need to be aware of.
Those
Please
guys,
don't show this.
this is going on the video.
No.
This is going on the video. Those guys are playing football over there, and I miss playing football. I feel like playing whenever I see them kicking around.
I told him to go and play. Then he's saying he doesn't have proper shoes.
My shoes are not right. They won't go properly if I kick
You
with
want to
these.
play, you just play anyhow. You don't see shoes all. You remove your shoes and go.
Okay, not important. So this spot is pretty interesting. There are like stones set around in the middle. So the next point is about daylight saving. So daylight saving is actually a practice of setting your clock 1 hour forward during the summer months, such that you get longer daylight and like a longer evening time. So when we first came to Canada, we were confused about this concept. We didn't really understand it. We didn't even know it existed. So I'm going to tell you what it exactly is. So daylight saving is like an adjustment that usually occurs during the spring that allows like people to use better use of the natural daylight in evenings. So what they do is they move the clock by 1 hour ahead, and such that so that there's more daylight in the evening hours and less in the morning. There's more daylight in the evening hours and less in the morning. So the main purpose of this is to make better use of natural daylight during longer days of the year, so that it reduces the need for artificial lighting in the evenings, things like that. So this practice also is like believed to save energy and promote outdoor activities during the longer evening times that we have. So usually when this usually happens is, so I think around, so during like March we set the clock forward by 1 hour, and around November we set it back to the normal time. So when we first experienced this last year in November, we woke up one day and then we realized like the clocks are weird. Like our phone clock is saying something, but the stove clock is saying something else. We were really confused what's going on, and felt weird, like all the clocks around the house. And then later on we got to know daylight savings thing happened, and then we were super confused by it. Even after reading, it took us some time to really understand this concept. Okay.
Okay, so the next point is people here in Canada are not as nice as you expect. So of course, when you see on TVs, they are usually made fun of how nice they are. They say sorry for the smallest of things and stuff like that. But the moment we came here, our experience started with immigration officers who are not very friendly. They're very strict and sometimes very rude as well. When we take buses, even the bus captains are not very friendly. They behave in a very rude way with you sometimes. However, we can we can understand them because they face a lot of people day to day, so they have become that way because there are a lot of shitty people out there. But that being said, when you come out of the main cities, like when we came to Whitby and now that we are staying in Whitby, we experience the Canadians that we actually known to be made fun of. They're very nice. They greet us, they talk to us, they acknowledge us, and they're so nice almost to the point that we get very suspicious to be like, oh, do they want something from us? But actually they don't. They're just being nice. So just make sure that when you're coming, just be aware that not everyone is going to be nice.
So the next point we will cover at this goalpost. So this is the back of the school. They use this basketball court in field during school days, but today's a weekend. So the next point is that Canada is actually so big that it has different time zones within the country. So I think there's about 6 different primary time zones going from east to the west of Canada. So starting from the east, north, south, east. Yeah, starting from the east, we have Newfoundland time zone. So Newfoundland and Labrador observe this unique time zone, which is about 30 minutes ahead of the Atlantic Standard Time. The Atlantic Standard Time, this time zone covers the maritime provinces like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and some part of Quebec as well. Now, Eastern Time Zone, this is where we are. It includes mostly Ontario, Quebec, some parts of Nunavut, and some Caribbean islands as well. Then we have the central time zone, that is usually some parts of Ontario, Manitoba, Nunavut. Then the mountain time zone covers Alberta and some parts of British Columbia. Then Pacific time zone, that is like western parts of British Columbia and Yukon. So yeah, these are the time zones in Canada. And initially I was confused because when you're in Singapore, you're in India or your country, you will tell your friend from the other side, we'll be like, hey, I'll call you at this time. Okay, we'll meet at that time. But then I called a friend in Calgary and I said, hey, we'll meet at 7 p.m. I'll call you back then. And then he was like, hey, you do realize your 7 p.m. is not my 7 p.m., right? I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I won't be free at that time, then I'll call you back later. So this time zone thing is is something we have to remember, because if we have friends in British Columbia, Calgary, Saskatchewan, anywhere, time is different there compared to if you are into Ontario.
Okay, so the next point is about dustbins. Again, another confusion about dustbins. So when we first came here, we realized that there were 3 different dustbins here in Toronto and Whitby and Scarborough, wherever it is. One is for recycling, so like your cans and any recycling items you put in one dustbin. The second dustbin is for your food waste, so anything that any leftovers from your food or any vegetables waste, whatever it is, you can throw it in the organic waste. And then you have the third one, which is general, so whichever one that doesn't fit in recycling and waste organic bin, you can put it in the general. So us being us, coming from Singapore, even in India, we just have one dustbin at home and we just throw it in that dustbin. So it took us a bit of time to understand which item goes under which category. And another thing is, they don't collect garbage every day. Here garbage is collected once a week, which was also something shocking to us. But I do feel like the practice of sort of dividing it into 3 different dustbins helps the environment. It is something that I wanted to do from back in Singapore, but as humans we get lazy, so this is a good practice, I feel, to just make sure we are doing the right thing for the environment as well. So yeah, I know we are done with all the points, but we just want to give you one bonus tip that you might want to know about. So for us, when we told everyone that we are going to Canada, they were like, huh, you're going to Canada? It's so cold there. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive? But don't worry about it, guys. Canada experiences 4 seasons, which is summer, spring, fall and winter. So it only snows here during the winters. The rest of the time the temperature is pretty stable, or during the fall and spring it can go like as low as probably 8 at night and 15, 16 in the morning, which is quite a good temperature to be in as long as you're wearing proper clothes. Canada is, yes, known for its cold winters, and I wouldn't deny that, but it's not the case throughout the year. The temperatures change, the temperatures fluctuate. Even during the winters, it's not like it's always going to be snowing and stuff like that. So don't worry about it. And even in the winters, as long as you have proper clothes that you put on before going outside, you should be good. Don't worry about it. Come here, experience it, then you will know what to do. So, and every weather has its own beauty. You will get to know once you come here.
Alright, so those were the tips. I hope they were helpful for you.
Yeah, personally we learned everything of those tips after coming to Canada. Nobody told us about them. So I hope this video has helped you, and yeah, that's it from us. Take care. See you in the next video. Stay happy. Be healthy. Bye.
Hey, you're gonna have ice cream or coffee?
Up to you.
Ice cream or coffee in this cold weather? What do you like?
Maybe Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons or ice cream? Let's see.